In this segment, we're going to review why power supply datasheets provide altitude specifications. Now, altitude is specified in power supplies because the performance and efficiency of a power supply can be affected by changes in atmospheric pressure at different altitudes. The air pressure decreases as the altitude increases, and this can impact the cooling efficiency and the heat dissipation capabilities of the power supply. Since many power supplies rely on air to cool the internal components, let's cover a few points on how altitude specifically affects the performance of power supplies. The first one is air density. At higher altitudes, the air is thinner and less dense, which means that the ability to use air to conduct heat away from the power supply is less effective. Since power supplies generate heat internally during operation, reduced cooling efficiencies can cause higher temperatures, potentially leading to overheating protection and shutting down, along with the reduced reliability or lifespan of the power, and in turn, the overall system. Let's look at some common cooling methods of power supplies. Many power supplies depend on air cooling, for example using fans, and at higher altitudes, because the air is thinner, a fan might not cool as effectively as it would at sea level, which would require a design that accounts for these conditions. Some designers may consider conduction-cooled power supplies for those applications where heat can be drawn away from the power supply using that direct contact with cooling surfaces. Another effect will be air's electrical insulation. The air is thinner, which means that it also provides less electrical insulation. This can be an issue because the risk of arcing and electrical discharge increases with altitude. Now, components within the power supply may also need to be spaced further apart or otherwise designed to prevent arcing at the altitude specified. Lastly, we also need to consider air pressure and humidity. These factors change with altitude as well and can cause and affect both the thermal and electrical performance of the power supply. Higher altitudes and lower air pressure results in the air holding less water vapor. Now, while less humidity is actually favorable in power supplies, less air density makes the air more conductive. When a power supply datasheet specifies altitude, it usually is giving the maximum height above sea level, which the device can be expected to operate reliably. Industries that require high altitude operation range from aerospace, military, or even telecommunications, where equipment might be mounted up high on a mountain. Now, with all these conditions, the altitude specification is crucial for selecting the appropriate power supply. For more information on how to specify power supplies where altitude is a consideration, give us a call here at TRC. Our power specialist will review all your requirements, answer all your questions, and select the right power supply for your application. To learn more about power supply selection and applications, subscribe to our channel.